AI isn't just a buzzword, it's a blueprint. And today's speaker is a pioneer in helping businesses realize the real potential of AI across industries. Please welcome Josh Good from Qlik, our platinum sponsor, for the next session on real-world AI from hype to reality.
Thank you. I got all these chairs to pick from. Like, which one should I sit on? We could run like a poll or something like that. So my name's Josh Good. I'm from Qlik. We're the largest independent data analytics and AI company in the world. We also do a significant amount of business, and as well as R&D. One of our major R&D centers is just up the road. You go down the 401, you take a left at Prescott, you go up the 417, and you're in Canada. And we have a major facility there where we do a lot of our cloud work, and a lot of our AI work is done out of there. What I thought I would talk to you about today is try to bring this all together into a framework on how you can really get value out of AI. So I'm calling it AI done right. I have a great team who comes up with things like that. And I thought, try not to make this just another session on AI where we're talking about all the potential, but give you some tools to go back today and try to get some value and deliver on that. So, it is really interesting how there's a big difference between the hype and the reality of what we're seeing. On the one hand, you got all this hype, and we're really, really excited about it, but there's a whole bunch of risk that's going on as well here that is coming to the forefront. And actually, being from a data company and a lot of you being data-oriented people, I thought we'd look at the data. So this is a study from IDC, and you can see there that there's a whole bunch of people who are using AI or starting to use it. They have their policies in place, but the reality of it is, what you're not getting is you're not seeing people actually deploying it in reality. Only about 25% of the respondents are deploying it, and they're not getting the value out of it. So while AI is transformative, it hasn't really transformed business yet. And a lot of it has to do with the challenges around making it real. And we've looked and talked with our 40,000 plus customers about what they're doing, and we've seen all sorts of varying levels of success. And the big challenge that we're seeing is there's a bad path that a lot of times that people end up going down, organizations go down. And it starts with some crappy data. The data you got that's good enough because especially like a year ago, people were like, "Are you doing your AI project?" You're like, "Yes, I am." And then you'd go back to your desk and be like, "We're doing an AI project now," right? So you'd grab the crappy data you could find, and you would maybe put whatever model you could find to do some AI thing on it, and maybe it wasn't even the right kind of AI. Maybe using an LLM when predictive was supposed to be the thing you were looking for, and then you don't really get the results because you've done something that's really complex. You thought really big, which is great. Think big, but keep your feet on the ground. But you lost contact with the ground. And then at the end of the day, you have no value coming out of it. And that's why right now, 80% of AI projects are failing. 80%. Think about that. That's not good. Even in baseball, that's not good, right? You got to bat a 300 in baseball to be good. You're batting a 200. So what we've looked at here at Qlik and is we said, okay, how are we seeing success? And I've put this together in a framework, and we call it playing the long game. So this is a question of how do you get value today from what you're doing, but then also set yourself up for the future. And there's three things that I think really make a difference on doing this. The first one is diversifying your path. You need to look at all the different ways you could be using AI and the different modes you can use it in and diversify that. You need to walk before you run. I'm not saying don't run. I'm just saying walk first. If you got kids, we've all had toddlers who tried to run and then learn how to walk, and you just fall over, right? It's so cute, but it's not really exactly great for your career. And then you don't want to skip steps. Yes, your grade 4 math teacher was right. You can't skip steps. If you skip steps, you make mistakes, you miss opportunity. So let's break that down a little bit about diversifying your path. So the first thing around diversifying your path is you need to have a diversified portfolio. We all know this from the financial investing world is always, diversified portfolio. Same thing here. So we found that between 3 and 4 AI projects are about the most that organizations can consume. If you have more than that going on within your, and when I say organization, I don't mean if you're a large bank, you can have more going on, but within your unit, 3 to 4, you should be running, and have different modes and different parts of the organization involved in that. Don't just have it all in the Office of Finance or all in customer service. Diversify across where you can apply that. And really look at different ways of applying that AI as well. So that helps you have a diversified portfolio so you have a better chance for success. The other is the rage, there we go. The rage, a year ago was Gen AI, like everything had to be Gen AI, right? And then somebody went through and they did a find and replace, and everybody's just replaced Gen AI with agentic now. That's great. Like agentic is going to be amazing, but it's really not quite there yet. And even Gen AI has a whole bunch of problems. And the reality is over 50% of successful AI projects this year are going to be predictive AI. Just plain old boring auto ML and machine learning. I don't know why that's plain old and boring, but that's the reality. So make sure when you diversify your path, you're using all the types of AI. You don't have to just have one type of AI. And you want to make sure you're using the right type of AI for the application. And if you do that, well, then you have a better chance for success. So, and the easiest one is on the left. Let me give you a little hint of where to start. So the last thing around diversifying your portfolio is about the people. So it's absolutely essential that you have those technical people and those AI literate people. But you need your entire organization to embrace this. And actually, you need a bunch of people to help you to help you along this journey, because the change management is huge. So this isn't just a matter of going and hiring the smartest engineer or the latest grad who knows the most about AI. This is as much a change management and a people problem as it is a technology challenge. So make sure that you have that rounded team out so you can ensure that you have all the perspectives coming in, and then you can leverage the technology the best way. And I love that the question that somebody asked about organizing, I forget which session it was, about how do you reorganize your organization, your structure, and the answer was don't. The technology needs to fit into your organization. Same thing here. So if you have a diversified path, then you need to make sure you're walking before you run. And this is the 6 steps that we've developed to getting your data AI ready. You can scan that QR code, and it's a whole presentation on its own. There's actually a white paper we've written on that. You're welcome to use that. If you use Qlik, it works really well. If you don't use Qlik, it also works really well. So everyone scan it, because this is really about approaches to things. Now, it's easier with Qlik, but you can go to our booth, and they'll tell you all the reasons why on that. So you need timely data. You need the data that's actually up to date. You need your data to be accurate. I mean, this seems pretty obvious, but who has untimely, inaccurate data? I got it all over the place, right? And then you need that data. Oh, these are small and hard to see. Oh, secure. Yeah. So the data has to be secure to make sure that you don't have a data breach, but it also has to be accessible and discoverable. So there's a tension there on how you're going to do that. Make sure the people who have it can get access, who need it can get access to it, and the people who don't want to have access, it's secured and you have confidence in it. And the interesting thing is, just because people can discover the data doesn't mean it's consumable. It has to be available in a form that AI can consume. And finally, your data has to be diverse, particularly if you're going to be doing anything that requires training. And whether that's training an LLM or just simply training a predictive model, you have to make sure you have diverse data so you don't have hallucinations or biases built into your data. So check out this. We go into a whole bunch of detail on that. Scan the QR code. And yes, the slides will be available. We'll send them out as part of this event. So if you missed the QR code, don't worry about it. So the next thing on walking before you run is, this is like one of my ethos in my career, is I'm highly motivated about being lazy. like really motivated. Like anything, like I learned how to code in Excel because I learned the record button for macros, and then like when I was a business analyst, it just did it for me. I put so much work into not having to do any work. And do that. So what that means in this case is all the vendors who you are using either already have AI in their products or are claiming to have AI in their products. And it's more and more the former than the latter these days. Use that AI that already exists in the applications you have. If you're using on-premise software, move to the cloud, because there'll be AI in the cloud version. If they have it in the on-premise version, upgrade, right? You know, what's the fastest way? Well, I can deliver AI to my organization just by upgrading to the next version of the software. Or I can unlock that. You should be looking for the opportunities to turn on all these AI capabilities within your vendors you are already using. Because there's some great stuff in there. And in our products, we have predictive models that have turned on right away. We have natural language that's been on for several years. We're doing augmented insights where we're guiding the users on how to understand their data better. We're automating the building of pipelines as well. So all of that's available just because you already bought Qlik. And the same thing applies for almost every vendor out there. So use that. And then you're already up that. Why work harder, right? You know, it's way more fun to go to like one of your kids' like ballet practices or something, right? Maybe not. Okay, and then the last thing about walking for your run is think small. So, you know, everyone, like particularly a year ago, like everyone's like, I'm going to build an LLM, and my company is going to be amazing, and we're going to build this thing. And then we tried to do it, and like, oh my gosh, that was hard, right? And it really wasn't that valuable. And there's a lot of people way smarter building stuff faster. But small language models, or even just small models, they don't have to be small language models. They are way more efficient. They get right to the core of your issue or what you're trying to solve for. And so if you think small, you can build from there. So small language models are a really great way to go, or even just small models. Like a simple predictive model that says something is really great. Many years ago, I worked for a company called Arc'teryx, who's out in the West Coast, and we had a great predictor. We could predict people's employment and when they were going to leave the company. You know how we did that? We looked at when they bought more of their employee discount clothing than they normally bought. It was, you know, like that's a small model. It's like, oh look, Josh just spent $2,000 on stuff, and we delivered it today. I bet he'll resign tomorrow. You know, so you can do amazing things with AI that are really small and are really powerful and valuable. They don't have to be big to be valuable. And so the last thing about not skipping steps. So the thing around not skipping steps is you've got to make sure you have a great governed framework. You've got to make sure you're doing responsible, trusted AI. The good news is almost everyone's got an AI policy now. The legal department did that for us. It's wonderful. Everyone's read it, I'm sure. And they are meaningful, but there's lots more you need to do. You got to have a governance council around how you're going to use AI. You need to govern your actual data. We talked about, you know, data in, garbage out. I'm not the first person to say it today, not the first person to say it this decade. And then vendor control. You know, as a vendor, I hate to say this, but yeah, keep control of us. You want to use our AI, but like you want to understand what it is. So get that control of your vendors to understand so you can use the AI. One thing I think is really important, and this is a member of our AI council that says this, is cars have brakes so you can drive faster. Who here has hit a patch of ice when their brakes didn't work? What do? You then drive really slow, right? If you got great brakes, you got great governance, you can go fast with AI. Because you know when that corner comes, or when you hit that ethical problem, or when you're going to have that spot where you'll be using the data in an inappropriate way, your governance will catch it and you won't make the mistake. So you can move forward quickly and with direction. The other thing to this point, we've talked about data, and we've only talked about 20% of the data. Everyone here tends to talk more about structured data than unstructured data. We're all used to structured data. 80% of your data is probably unstructured. Look for opportunities with your unstructured data. There's massive opportunity out there, and with the advances we've had, we can process unstructured data. We used to just talk about unstructured data as data that's yet to be structured. That's not the case anymore with what's happened in generative AI. So you have a massive opportunity of untouched data that you can access, and you can do amazing things with. And then the last thing around not skipping steps is actually kind of skipping a step, is don't go it alone. There is a huge network that you want to build out. Coming to this conference is a great first start on this. There's a huge network that you want to build out of experts and advice, and it's internal to your organization and external to your organization. Build out an AI council. We've done that at Qlik, and I'll talk about them in a moment of all the things that Qlik's done around this. But you want to do that and build that out so that you have a network to help you, not only help you be successful, but help you when you fail. Like, you're going to fail sometimes, but someone else has probably failed similarly and they know how to get out of it, or they can see it coming and they can say, hey, you're kind of, you might want to put the brakes on right there. So huge opportunity there, because we as a group are much smarter than any of us alone. So that's the framework. Diversify your plan, or your path, excuse me. So, lots of use cases. Don't forget about human-centric skills. Make sure you're using all the different kinds of AI when you walk before you run, right? Leverage your existing apps. Don't skip any steps either. Make sure you have a responsible AI framework. Use that unstructured data that's available to you and already exists in your organization, because you can get big benefit from it. So what I thought I'd do is I just gave you 16 minutes of theory, and I was like, hey, here's all the answers, right? And some of you, I heard some laughs, so some of you are hopefully laughing with me, not at me. But what I thought would be really helpful is to use a use case and show you a company that's doing quite well and has been doing this sort of thing. And there's no company I know better than my own. And I also think it's a good use case to show how technology companies are grappling with this the same as everybody else. At Qlik, we're trying to figure out how to use AI internally in our organization. We're trying to also figure out how to put it into our software so you could use it. So I'm going to go through what Qlik's doing and how we're following this, the framework, and as well as we're following the way to have this, to get value in the short term while also playing the long game. First thing is, we've been doing AI for quite a long time. Back in 2018, we launched the first chatbot that was right in our analytics product. And prior to that, in 2013, we actually built machine learning into our proprietary purpose-built analytics engine, and it already has machine learning in it. You and your organizations probably have already been using AI for quite a long time before it was a hot topic. And you may have to go down to the basement and find a data scientist or something like that. But look for those cases where you've already started down the path, because that will really help you accelerate, and you have some lessons learned there. We also, in our software, have built it to be completely AI ready. And we leverage this to run our business, as well as this is the software we sell. So we have, on the left-hand side there, we have the AI Foundation, which represents our data integration and quality capabilities, where you can access data, you can move it, you can transform it, and you can make it completely AI ready and analytic ready, or however you need to do it. And then on the right-hand side, the green part there, that's where we have our AI solutions. That represents our AI, ML, and analytics capabilities that are in our software, where you not only can analyze data, but you can predict and act right out of it. And we use all of that to run our business, and we also, of course, help customers run their business with those capabilities. You don't have to use all of them. Use some of them. Well, I'd like it if you use all of them, but no. Most people start using some of them in a spot where they're having the most amount of pain. And frankly, it's probably the data side where you're going to have the most amount of pain to start with AI. Because if your data's not good, what's the point? The other thing we do in terms of using AI is we deploy AI capabilities directly to our field-facing and our frontline workers. One thing we have a product called Qlik Answers, which is solely focused, actually, until last week, it was solely focused on unstructured data. Now it can do structured data as well. But what it can do is take your curated, unstructured content, like your sales materials, your policies, contracts, and it can curate that all in and answer questions about that entire set of data and combine it from multiple other spots. So how do we use it? We deploy that to our sales team. All our competitive information, all of our pricing information, all of our product differentiation, that's all in SharePoint. we hook up Qlik Answers to that, and now our sellers are able to answer any one of your questions with a cohesive, complete answer that is fully referenceable and fully ties back to the data, so there's no hallucinations going on, and you can audit the entire thing. We found it. I've never seen our salespeople adopt a new technology so quickly in my life, with the exception of probably the BlackBerry, right? I mean, this has really been game-changing for us, and it's something that anyone can use. We're also using other bots. So our support team and our IT teams also use bots. When you put in an IT ticket now at Qlik, the bot is actually an agent, and it can act. So it's actually really annoying, because you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to get some downtime while IT sorts this out. This is great. And then you send in your ticket to the bot, and it's like, oh, we've now given you access to that new capability or that system you didn't have access to. Get back to work, Josh. And I'm like, damn, I was going to go for lunch. But it works really, really great to have those type of capabilities. The other thing, what we're doing is, I alluded to this earlier, is we have an AI council. So we have external experts who advise us on our business and how we can use AI. They advise us on our strategy, our roadmap, and help us with our thought leadership. So we went out and proactively did that. It makes a huge difference, not only so that we can have these individuals in the AI Council come to you as our potential customers, but they also help us run our business better and look for opportunities, not only to use AI, but to use AI responsibly. Finally, what we've done is we've brought this all into an entire AI governance program within Qlik. So we have our entire program actually out publicly. You can go to qlik.com/trust, and you can be inspired, or we might, in the university context, they call it plagiarism. I like to call it inspiration. But you're welcome to take whatever we are doing, and use that to help you with your AI governance. We're all trying to figure this out together, so please take that. And then we've also incorporated all of this into our business code of conduct. So we now, part of our business code of conduct, we don't have a separate thing for AI. AI is expected to be used in our organization, and it's part of our code of conduct. And that also includes upskilling and training our employees so that they're better prepared for the new workforce, not only to talk about AI in a sense like this, but also to use it in their day-to-day. So that's how Qlik is playing a little differently to do this great opportunity, and I want to say challenge, but it's an opportunity. It can be both, right? This is a really exciting time, but we're going to need to do things quite differently. There's a huge opportunity out there, but there's also great opportunity to waste money and spin your wheels. So remember the framework. It was up there, and hopefully you're able to grab it. And if not, you can come see me at the booth. And if you wanted it in a different format, well, it's also written out in an entire multi-page document. Everything I covered here, the framework on how we think about it, and also all the strategies that we're doing both internally and externally at Qlik. We're happy to share them with you. So you can grab that QR code as well and see our approach to tackling the AI challenge and opportunity. So thank you very much. We got like 5 minutes. We can do questions, or we can just get a little ahead of schedule, because I know people are probably getting hungry. That's my LinkedIn. If you're curious where I am, I'm out in the West Coast in Victoria. I like that I can tell this audience I'm in Victoria. Everyone else in the world, I say I'm near Vancouver. And they go, oh yeah, I've been to Stanley Park. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So, if there are any questions, I'm happy to take those now.
Yes, I have questions. Thank you very much for sharing your data strategy and journey at Qlik. My question is actually on governance side of things. So, what key indicators show that your governance framework is innovating, not hindering innovation and agility in Qlik business strategy?
Oh, I love that question, because governance is like, we have this thing that goes on, right, where things pendulum from being under-governed to over-governed. It goes from the wild, wild west, and then goes back to like, oh my God, we got to lock everything down. So I think there isn't a single key indicator, but I think it really comes back to risk. And you got to be clear on where you're going to accept your risks, and allow things to be a little looser. And then the other is also, you have to decide, make a fundamental decision, do you trust your employees or not? Because if you entrust your employees, then you can reduce your governance, and then the top line can be do the right thing. And then the last piece I would say is to making a really good governance framework is look for opportunities where you can get value and then govern it. So there's nothing wrong with somebody doing something that's outside the governed framework, provided they understand you got to understand PII and things like that. But that should be encouraged. But then the key is those things need to fold back in. So if something goes ungoverned and then it comes back in, I would say then you've probably hit the right balance of where you're innovating and then governing after the innovation to make sure that you're on side. Any other questions? Great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I absolutely enjoyed that session because it was so humorous. If that's one thing I'm going to come and learn later is how to bring more humor into my presentations when we're talking about AI. I loved it.